Have you ever had a memory you knew wasn't yours? A fear that gripped you for no reason, a place you recognized but had never been, a nightmare so vivid it felt like someone else's trauma, passed on to you. What if those moments weren't imagination at all? What if memories and fears can echo across generations? Today we're unraveling a chilling theory with roots in both science and the supernatural, that you might be haunted by someone else's past. The premonition that sparked the question. A woman in Ontario has a dream. She's in a forest she's never been before, running barefoot, chased by faceless men. She hides beneath twisted roots. In the dream, she's not herself, she's someone else. Months later, she visits Hungary for the first time. On a whim, she joins a local tour group outside Budapest. As they descend into a wooded area, she freezes. It's the forest from her dream. It sounds like a ghost story, but what if it's something older, something passed through blood, not spirits? Epigenetics, the science of inherited fear. We've long believed that your DNA is set in stone, that it only tells your body how to grow, not how to remember, but epigenetics is changing that. Epigenetics is the study of how behaviors and environment can cause changes that affect how your genes work, without altering the DNA sequence itself. Think of it like genetic highlighting. Certain experiences, especially traumatic ones, can switch genes on or off. And here's the twist, those changes can be inherited. A landmark study in 2014 showed that mice who were trained to fear a certain smell, cherry blossoms, passed that fear on to their offspring. Even the grandpups of those mice flinched when exposed to the scent, despite never experiencing pain. Researchers had altered their emotional responses across generations. Haunted by the past, real human cases. In 2015, researchers at Emory University began studying Holocaust survivors and their children. What they found was stunning. Children of survivors showed measurable genetic markers, epigenetic tags associated with trauma. Even when those children were born decades after the war, they carried a biological echo of suffering they never experienced. And it's not just war. Descendants of famine victims in Sweden have shown metabolic changes. African American communities with historical links to slavery show heightened stress markers generations later. It's like the body keeps the score and passes the scorecard on. Inherited memory, folklore meets science. Ancient cultures have long claimed that memories, talents, and traumas can be inherited. In Tibetan Buddhism, reincarnated lamas are sometimes identified by children's uncanny knowledge of events, people, and places from their predecessor's life. In West African traditions, ancestral spirits are believed to dwell within family lines, influencing dreams, decisions, and fears. Now, with epigenetics, science is catching up to what folklore always hinted at. Maybe memory doesn't need to live in the brain, maybe it can live in the blood. False memory or ghost signal. Skeptics argue that these are just coincidences. The brain is powerful and trauma is contagious through storytelling alone. If your grandfather survived war and you grow up hearing those stories, your brain might absorb that pain as if it were your own. But what about the others? People with phobias of drowning, yet no traumatic experience. People who speak languages in dreams they've never studied. Children who recall names, towns, and dates they've never encountered. Can all of that be dismissed as fantasy? Or is there something more encoded in us? The implications and the weird energy of it all. If this is true, if memories or emotions are biologically transmissible, then trauma isn't just personal, it's generational. You could be carrying someone else's grief, their terror, their unfinished story. But it also means you carry their strength, the survival instinct that pulled them through, the knowledge that's been imprinted silently in your cells. It suggests that every one of us is a layered being, past, present, and potential, stitched together by the ghosts of our own lineage. And maybe, just maybe, some fears are there for a reason. Not because of what might happen, but because of what already did, to someone whose blood still flows in you. So what do you think? Is inherited memory science, spirit, or something in between? Have you ever had a fear you couldn't explain, or a memory that didn't feel like your own? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this exploration into the haunted edges of biology and belief, like, subscribe, and ring that bell.